There should not be a situation where me and my man are going tit for tat. Because you know what that gives? It gives It's Raining Men. It gives Men on Film. It gives Bent Wrist. And you know what that did? That brought all the feminine men out. Like, Columbus Short, you're the last man that I want to take any kind of advice from when it comes to relationships and women, especially a man who is allegedly an abuser to women anyway. Because if you see a little man sitting behind a desk, berating women, telling women that they need to be virgins and have a low body count to even be considered a wife, and then something in your mind triggers, let me call him for some advice, then whatever he says to you is your own fault. Why do you feel so comfortable to be on these platforms belittling Black women?
We reflect right back to them that emotional trauma that they throwing on us. So in essence, you have two females arguing, although one is in a man's body.
Meloney P. Talk to him.
This show is, be honest, on a very low calorie, high protein diet. Be honest. Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Meloney P podcast. I am your girl, Meloney P, and we are here to have a conversation. Now, the conversation that we're having today was not planned, and it has me feeling really, really good. Lord Jesus, I had not planned to record today, but I got up, I said my morning affirmations, and the gods, aka See the God, aka Dr. Umar, showed up and showed out. Dr. Umar showed up and showed out, y'all. So let me tell y'all this. This morning I woke up, I was scrolling through the gram, whatever. And I saw this dude, and I'm going to just play this guy that I saw on Instagram that really put me in a certain headspace.
Appreciate if we could get some real answers and not some like sarcastic things. But if that's how it's going to be also, that's cool. So my first question is, what are your credentials? Like, what makes you the guru? Like, you gone to school for this? You got a woman? Like, what makes the guru the guru?
Because I know how to slang my thing.
Okay. So if you're going to play that way, I'm just going to say that every man that you like embolden with this is another Black woman or woman getting hurt in a different domestic violence situation.
All right. So this guy,
I already know what kind of person you are. You coming on here with pajamas on. You got your little itty bitty titties that we can see a little, and you ain't got no bra on or nothing. You don't come. Y'all not respectable. The high value woman is the one that has kept her chastity. Number one. Number two, she knows how to be quiet and take instruction. Number three, she knows how to manage her emotions and she's patient. Number four, I would say she's loving, kind.
Okay, that's enough of him. That's enough of him. So I woke up this morning and I happened to come across one of this man's posts, and it made me feel like, ugh. It made me feel, ugh, and it made me feel he got a point. Got a point, right? It was, because here we go. Another fake ass Kevin Samuels telling a woman that she need to do this. She need to be quiet. She need to do this. She need to do that. And he's literally taking the exact playbook, looks wise, everything wise, stance wise from Kevin Samuels. Like, where's your originality? That just put me in just such a headspace. But then I had to look deeper into it. And you know why he's successful, and do you know why he's able to go live, and you know why he's emboldened to be able to have these strong opinions and to make them stronger and stronger? It is because women are calling in to his show. Women are going to him for help and support, and it ain't his fault. Like, if he feels like he has advice and if he has wisdom and if he is strong and 10 toes down in his beliefs, then obviously he feels and finds himself to be an expert. He calls himself a guru, for God's sake. So if he feels like he's a guru, then if the people come, he's going to give it a guru. He's going to help, right? So a lot of the things that he was saying to these women, some of it was true. And if you ask, then they're not going to lie, right? So even though he's giving insecurity, he's given just bandwagon. He's given bandwagon, jump on the train. So I get it, make your little money, whatever the case might be. But these women are going to him, and they're going to him for advice, and he's giving it to them. It just really, that alone says a lot, because if you see a little man sitting behind a desk, berating women, telling women that they need to be virgins and have a low body count to even be considered a wife, and then something in your mind triggers, let me call him for some advice, then whatever he says to you is your own fault. I saw that some women were calling in kind of for fun and just to kind of make it a joke and do your thing, whatever. But enough about this guru. When I saw his post, I'm like, I am not about to get up here and talk about this man. I'm so tired of these conversations about black men talking about black women and everybody an expert, everybody a guru, blah, blah, blah. And I said, forget it. I'm not about to talk about this mess. I don't want to be a part of that train, right? But then I saw something that really just put a pep in my step today, because it's literally what I've been saying, but it's coming from a woman's voice. I'm going to just play the tape, honey. I'm going to play the tape. Let's get it.
Man, I want to ask you something Columbus Short said, since we talking about that.
Sure.
He said he got some heat for saying that black men are dating outside their race because most black women are raised by single mothers and absentee fathers and taught a don't need a man mentality. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's what I would say to my brother Columbus Short, and I'm a fan of his. Are we not all victims of the systemic oppression and injustice that racism has introduced into our community? So just as you have black women who didn't grow up with their father, you have black men who didn't grow up with their fathers or their mothers. Mm-hmm. In other words, why is it acceptable for the black man raised by a black woman without his dad to reject a black woman raised by her mother without her dad? I think sometimes black men can be guilty of a double standard where we want a perfect offering when we ourselves are not a perfect offering. And to that point, I think black men need to recognize the fact that one of the reasons we have so much conflict with black women is because we don't operate on a masculine platform.
Man, I want to ask you something, Columbus.
With our women all the time, we tend to operate on a female platform. For example, when a woman gets angry, rather than you trying to understand your queen non-emotionally. See, you can't have both people in a relationship with a low emotional IQ. Because if both people in a home, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, y'all going to argue over everything because nobody says, I am not going to emote over this. I'm not going to deal with this with feelings. I'm going to use reason and intelligence. That's what the man is supposed to do. Yeah. But guess what we do? Raised by single mothers, many of us, we reflect right back to them that emotional trauma that they throwing on us. So in essence, you have two females arguing, although one is in a man's body. Black men have to start being masculine and less feminine. All this cattiness, this back and forth between black men and black women on the internet, that is feminine and feminine. Masculinity don't operate like that. Masculinity wants to understand with our women all the time. The woman is coming from. Masculinity wants to then intervene, study himself, evaluate his behavior, and try to level up to where she needs him to be. But arguing back and forth with women as a man, that's anti-masculine behavior. What we really need is some testosterone shots. We need more testosterone because black men are mimicking female behavior emotionally, and they're not even recognizing it. The woman is coming from masculinity.
We come to the 2000s, and these women are black women were raised by single mothers, absentee fathers that are either incarcerated, dead, or just gone.
Talk about it.
That their mama said, you don't need no you don't need no man. You can do it by yourself. So that energy
this is giving me chills.
That energy comes into the home. They're not, what you talking about? Unless you giving me this, doing that, there's no respect of the man, the black man, in that by black women. And I'm not, black women, do not be mad at me.
They're gonna be mad, trust me.
I'm not talking about all of y'all. I'm saying
they're gonna be mad.
There's a majority of you guys that was raised without a father, so you have no respect for that. So what's the difference?
Okay.
Well,
let me say this really quick because I know my fan base and I know these people.
Now, before I go into my thoughts on all of this, I don't know this lady. I don't know this lady, but if she is not a black woman, I am really pissed about that, because she's sitting there, they gonna be mad at this one. I'm getting chills. If you are not a black woman and you're talking like that, then I ain't got nothing for you. One of these comments I saw said, I've just never seen white men sitting around on a podcast talking about white women just because they want to date black women. Dr. Umar, from me to you, thank you. So I want to kind of dissect just my thoughts on this post, because it's truly,
he wants to date our women off.
And I want to ask you something Columbus Short said, since we're talking about that.
All the time. We tend to operate on
he got some heat for saying that black men are dating outside their race because most black women are raised by single mothers and absentee fathers and taught a don't need a man mentality. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's what I would say to my brother Columbus Short, and I'm a fan of his. Are we not all victims of the systemic oppression and injustice that racism has introduced into our community? So just as you have black women who didn't grow up with their father, you have black men who didn't grow up with their fathers or their mothers. Mm-hmm. In other words, why is it acceptable for the black man raised by a black woman without his dad to reject a black woman raised by her mother without her dad? I think sometimes black men can be guilty of a double standard where we want a perfect offering when we ourselves are not a
perfect offering. Now I want to stop there for a second, because he said, and let me go back. One thing that stood out is that we want, meaning black men, want a perfect offering when we ourselves are not a perfect offering. And I think that needs to be plastered on a billboard somewhere, because when you look at all of these debates, all of these black men don't want black women because they so this, they so that. But if you always pointing the finger at somebody, first of all, are you looking at yourself? And one thing that he said that I have always thought about, like, I was not raised in a single parent home. I was raised with a mom and a dad, very healthy home, healthy life, whatever. But I always hear black men talking about how black women, have all this trauma, and they were raised by these single mothers, and now they think they don't need a man and all this. And they look down at them for that. They look down at women for having, children and then not being with the man that they had children with. And here's the thing. It takes two people to have a baby. It takes two people to have a child. So if one person, meaning the man, leaves the family, walks out, leaves the woman to raise the children by herself, leaves the woman, to be a single mother, not helping, not giving any child support, not giving time, not giving whatever, why is the onus put on the black woman? Why is it that black men have the audacity to look down on black women for being single mothers? They did not choose most of the time, oftentimes, to be a single mother. I don't feel like most people choose to be a single mother. Instead of looking at the woman, the feminine woman who is now being conditioned and, having to have such a masculine energy, because now she's both the husband or the mom, the dad, the man, the woman in the household. Why not look at that man who has left? Why not look at that man who is absent? Why not put your focus there? And it speaks to what Dr. Umar is saying, because it's like you're giving feminine energy. So instead of you being mad at the man who should be the head, because you can't pick and choose. We want black women to be submissive, to be homemakers, to be quiet, to be feminine by their definition, to not have an attitude, this, that, and the third, be cooks. Like this guy kept talking about, he wants this woman to, the guru kept saying that women should be virgins basically and know how to cook. Most women can't cook. But I always say a lot of men don't even know how to nail a nail. You know what I'm saying? So stop looking at what black women aren't and look at what you are not. Look at the black man. Look at how we can make things better. How can we make our community better? And we need to start from the top, and the top and the head should be the black man. And if the black man is the head and he's doing things that is detrimental to the black community, then shouldn't our focus be there? Shouldn't the podcast be focused on how to make black men better? No, because like Dr. Umar says, it's giving feminine energy, it's giving weak, it's giving I need testosterone. So because I need testosterone, I'ma just operate as a man in my feminine energy. I'm not gonna go to the source. I'm not gonna go to the problem. I'm gonna go to the weakest link, which is the woman, and I'm gonna point the finger at her. I'm gonna beat her down. I'm gonna say she's wearing a bonnet. She's being masculine. She won't shut up. She doesn't know how to cook. I'm gonna go to the low hanging fruit. And I feel like that is 100% what Dr. Umar expressed in the most best way. It just gave me chills to hear a black man speak and take accountability and take onus for the state of the black family and the black community, because that's not often. You know, I'm a podcaster, I understand. And I try my best to not be a part of the problem, but try to be as much as I can a part of the solution. And the problem is that the black men, like he say, they need a little bit of testosterone. Why do you feel so comfortable to be on these platforms belittling black women? Again, I have to repeat this. If a child is being raised by a single mother, that means the father has left. That means the father is not present. So instead of you going and being like, okay, well, hold up, where is this dad? And let me step in and let me help. And it's this woman raising this kid by herself. How can I help? No, we don't want you. We devalue you because you're a single mom and you're this and you're that. Not focusing on the man who promised to be there, not focusing on the man who is half of that child, has half of that responsibility, who just left her alone. We don't focus on that. We focus on the low-hanging fruit, the easy target, the woman, the weakest target. How can you go to bed at night knowing that you have spent your whole day belittling a woman that looks like your mother and your grandmother all day? You know, we have the Anton Daniels, we have the Kevin Samuels, we have the gurus. And listen, make your money, Black Kings. I love it. Like, I love the fact that you are, you know, I guess getting money, but you don't have to bash black women in the process. There's another way to do it. If you want black women to be a certain way, first of all, if you are angry, here's the thing. If I know that I want a man who's going to pay all my bills, and I know that I want a man who's 6'3", and I know that I want a man that this, that, and the third, why would I be mad at the men who aren't that? Why would I focus on the men who aren't that? They're not for me. I'm not for them. And so the same can be said for these men who find such audacity, aggression, or whatever the word you want to use in that sentence. There's something wrong in the fact that you put attention, anger, rage, a bunch of stuff. You put it all that focus on someone who you feel like isn't for you. It's not helpful. Like, do you think it's helpful for the narrative to be from our kings, from our leaders, from our head, for the national narrative to be that black men and black women are separate, black women and black men can't get along, black men don't value black women? You know, black men don't want black women. Black men think black women are masculine and they're this and they're that. How do you think that makes us look? How does that make you think that makes you look? How is that helpful? If you feel like there's a woman who got, 3 kids or 4 kids and got 4 different baby daddies and this, that, and the third, and you don't want to be a part of that, then don't be a part of it. You ain't got to talk about her. I see all of these videos on YouTube with these men in these platforms, and they're just talking about women, just going in. I could not imagine sitting up here and all of my shows, all of my episodes are talking about a man ain't this, a man ain't that, a man. Like, no, I would never, nor have I ever done that. And here's the thing for the people who are the naysayers. I mentioned before that I had somebody like say, oh, what, who hurt you? Because all I hear you do is talk about black men this way. And the reason why I do is because all I know is good black men. I know amazing black men, amazing fathers, amazing husbands, amazing community leaders. I was raised around it. It's my energy. It's my community. So when I see a black man and he's not on that high level, it's odd to me. And I want to be like, okay, well, what's going on? Because you're supposed to be up here and you operating down here. So what's going on? Because it's foreign to me. You're an alien, a deadbeat, someone who ain't working, someone who ain't taking care of their family as far as a black man is an alien to me. That's an alien to me. That is not the norm for my experience. And I don't want that to be the norm for the majority, if not all black women's experience.
The perfect offering. And to that point, I think black men need to recognize the fact that one of the reasons we have so much conflict with black women is because we don't operate on a masculine platform.
Man, I want to ask you something, Columbus.
Female platform. For example, when a woman gets angry, rather than you trying to understand your queen non-emotionally. See, you can't have both people in a relationship with a low emotional IQ.
Let's stop right there, boo-boo. You cannot have two people in a relationship with a low emotional IQ. I mean, he is giving it. Like, he is putting the onus, the accountability where it needs to be. And again, it's not 100% on the man. It's not. But a lot of times I feel like the narrative and the consensus is that it's the black woman and she's angry and she's this and she's emotional and she's so masculine. But what about you? So that means that you're going to match my masculine, which is not masculine. It's just kind of survival mode. I feel like a lot of women are in survival mode. Here's something that's really horrible I'm going to say, but sometimes when I would get nervous, lately, I have to take a shit. And I was doing some type of Googling or something, I don't know. And I found that when your body gets nervous, your body goes into a survival mode. And oftentimes that is expressed by having to run to the bathroom and take a number 2 because your body is in survival panic mode. And that's just a reaction to your body. So it's the same thing. I feel like a lot of times with these black women, like no black woman wants to, and let me not say that. Most black women, I dare say, don't want to be masculine, like operating in a masculine energy. We desire to be in a soft, feminine energy. But in order for a black woman or a woman in general to be operating comfortably in her feminine energy, there has to be an environment that makes her comfortable. There has to be an environment that allows her to operate in her feminine energy. And if a woman is left to be the man, to be the woman, to be, everything to the household by herself, then how can she operate and practice operating in feminine energy when she's having to daily operate in masculine energy? Corporate America. I have a job where I have undoubtedly the worst job I've ever had in my entire life. The most stressful, demeaning, trauma-filled job I've ever had in my life. A bunch of men, all white men who are rude, who curse. It's been the worst experience. Having to deal with that all morning, all afternoon, all day. It makes me be in a masculine energy. It makes me be in a survival energy. It makes me be in an uncomfortable, anxious, traumatic energy all day. So I need to be able to come home or walk away from my computer and operate in my feminine because I've had to be masculine all day. And honestly, I need to have the option, hopefully, to not even have to be there. Not even hopefully. I need to have the option to not be there in that environment being abused mentally every day, all day. A black woman, the only minority, the only 35 plus or, plus person on my team constantly being berated. I've had people come to me, white coworkers come to me and say, it makes them uncomfortable how they talk to you or talk to me because it seems like because of my race, That is why they feel comfortable to talk to me that way. I've had 2 people come to me on my job and say that to me. So at the end of the day, I'm in survival mode. A lot of women are in survival mode all day at their work. So they don't have an option to even be in feminine because they're basically on the defense all day. So it's not even just, women who are, single mothers or whatever the case might be. It's just any environment that robs women of being able to operate and move in their feminine energy.
Because if both people in a home, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, if you and your wife both have a low emotional IQ, y'all going to argue over everything because nobody says, I am not going to emote over this. I'm not going to deal with this with feelings. I'm going to use reason and intelligence. That's what the man is supposed to do.
Reason and intelligence. Listen, I am not a woman telling a man how to be a man. This is a man telling a man how to be a man. He literally said that it is the job of the man to diffuse. It is a job of the man to bring reason. It is a job of the man to bring direction, guidance, leadership, next steps, like calm a situation. The emotional piece, we shouldn't be fighting emotion with emotion. Like, that's crazy to me. And that is what the podcasts are doing. I sat there and I asked myself, I said, how did this 50-50 debate, conversation, narrative, how did that even come to be? And my friend was like, it probably likely started with one woman being on a podcast saying that she, this whole hypergamous, soft life, Black woman luxury movement that I applaud. A woman was on a podcast. She explained that she does not want to be with a man who is not going to pay all her bills. She does not subscribe to paying 50% of anything, and that's her stance. And you know what that did? That brought all the feminine men out. It brought all the feminine men out. You know why? Because they felt targeted. They felt like a hurt dog hollering. If you are a man who don't subscribe to the soft life for a Black woman, then you find a woman who wants to help. You find a woman who wants to pay some of these bills. You find your people, but you don't have to beat up the people who aren't your people in progress of trying to find your person. And I feel like that's where these emotional men are coming from. They're all over YouTube, all over the podcast. No, like Columbus Short, you're the last man that I want to take any kind of advice from when it comes to relationships and women, especially a man who is allegedly an abuser to women anyway. Why? First of all, this woman, she looks like she's Spanish. I don't know. So forgive me if I have misspoke. But you on a non-Black woman's podcast talking negatively about Black women, and you feel like we the problem? Child. Emotional IQ. I cannot applaud Dr. Umar in this conversation enough because, again, men want to pick and choose when they want to be a man, and they want to pick and choose like, well, men are supposed to do this, but that don't seem like that's fun, or I don't want to learn how to do this, so I'm going to just be like, I'm a leader, but I'm not leading, or I'm a leader, but I'm going to argue with you, I'm going to fight with you, I'm going to add fuel to the fire, I'm going to get on podcasts and talk negatively about you. I'm not leading us nowhere. I have nothing positive to offer. I have no direction, no guidance, can't do anything but talk negatively about Black women. It's wild to me.
Yeah. But guess what we do? Raised by single mothers, many of us, we reflect right back to them that emotional trauma that they throwing on us. So in essence, you have 2 females arguing, although one is in a man's body.
2 females arguing, Dr. Umar. Beautiful Black man, Dr. Umar. 2 women, you have 2 women fighting, but one is in a man's body. These are not my words. This is Dr. Umar, ultimate Black man. This is his words. 2 women fighting, but one is in a man's body. Let's repeat that. 2 women fighting, but one is in a man's body. 2 fighting, but one is in a man's body. There should not be a situation, and Dr. Umar confirms, where me and my man, or me and any man, or any man and any woman are going tit for tat fighting. Because you know what that gives? It gives It's Raining Men. It gives Men on Film, Living Color. You know, I know y'all seen Living Color. It gives Bent Wrist. There's no reason why I should be going tit for tat with a man, because I'm looking at a man, especially a black man, okay, as a leader. But in order for me to look at you as a leader, you have to be able to give me, number one, examples of I need to feel comfortable with your ability to lead, meaning that there should be evidence and statistics that show my man got it. My man is a leader. I ain't gotta worry. I ain't even gotta use my brain. My friends always trip on me because, you know, people who see me on this show think that I'm so opinionated. I'm so, like, I was even called a feminist. I'm not. Like, I'm the most softest, let my man lead. You know, I like to be led. I don't want to use my brain. You make the decisions. That's what I like. That's truly what I like. But at the end of the day, in order for any woman to rest in that feminine energy, give her man the lead, or whatever the case might be, she has to feel comfortable in his ability to be able to do so. And a woman only gets comfort in a man's ability to lead if he has shown time and time again that he can effectively lead you, the household, the children, the finances. And that does not mean, because I know that people gonna come out at me in the comments, that does not mean that it's only on the man, because we all know that a good leader is also a follower. A good leader can also follow. A good leader can also go to different sources to be able to make a good decision. A good leader can still work as a team with his partner, but ultimately still lead. So for everybody who's trying to find a way out, all the men who are going to try to find an excuse of why they can't do this, why they can't do that, nobody's saying that it's all on the men. I mean, Dr. Umar could be saying that, I don't know, but I don't believe that it's all on the men. I still believe that, you know, it's a partnership. I think that it can be a partnership, but I still feel like a good leader is going to be a good leader. And even if we are in a partnership, I'm going to feel comfortable that I'm with a masculine man with a high emotional IQ that's shown me time and time again that he can lead me, lead my household, make decisions, make good decisions that ultimately benefit me, our family, the community. If he's constantly showing me that, then I'm going to give him all the respect. I'm going to give him all the, you got it. Like, I trust you. I trust your decision making. And it leads to another conversation, because we got to be better in choosing partners. So again, it's not all on the man. It's not all on the woman. It's all on both of us together. But there should be a head. And if somebody's going to be a head, it should be our black men. That emotional IQ thing is crazy. You know, these men on these podcasts, on these platforms that are going tit for tat with other women, it's giving feminine. You are a feminine energy person in a man's body. You going tit for tat. The guru on his show going tit for tat with a woman. Oh, who you slept with? Oh, you got a bonnet on? All these things. Why you care? Why do you care? Because a good leader can take anything and make it flourish, right? So what do you get out of berating black women on a platform? Talk about yourself. Talk about yourself. And if you're perfect the way I feel like you think you're going to be, how about your brother? How about your neighbor? How about the man who's beating his wife? How about the man who walked out on his kids? How about the man who don't have a job? There's a lot of different people that you can put that attention on without putting it on the weakest link, which is the woman. And I have to applaud Dr. Umar.
Black men have to start being masculine and less feminine. All this cattiness, this back and forth between black men and black women on the internet, that is feminine and feminine. Masculinity don't operate like that. Masculinity wants to understand with our women all the time.
Masculinity doesn't operate like that. Now, again, I am not a man. I am just giving my thoughts on what this man is saying. I'm in agreement we put so much focus on feminine and she not feminine and this, that, and the third, but what does masculine look like? And I don't mean toxic masculinity. I don't mean, oh, well, I'm a man, so even though I'm not equipped to lead, even though I haven't done the work, even though I haven't gone to a therapist, even though I haven't, dealt with my childhood trauma, my, whatever mental things I got going on from now or the past, even though I haven't done the work, I still want to lead. No, not you. We talking to the men who can look in the mirror and identify, okay, these are my deficits. This is what I need help on. This is what I'm good at. So I'm going to take those same skills that made me be good at these things, and I'm going to put that on these, on these items that I need to work on and work on myself to show up as the best man that I could be for myself, first and foremost, then for my family, then for my community. One thing that he says in here, I think I'm gonna get to this next. Let me see if I could get to it.
We tend to operate on a female platform. For example, when the woman gets angry, rather than you trying to understand your queen non-emotionally. So you can't have both people in a relationship with a low emotional IQ. Because if both people in a home, if you and your wife both have a low the woman is coming from, masculinity wants to then intervene, study himself, evaluate his behavior, and try to level up to where she needs him to be.
That is a word. And that right there, my friends, that is the black wife effect. Let's keep it a buck. He says, and I'm going to say it just in my words. What I hear him saying is that, and let me back up a little bit. All these men who say that black women require all of this. Oh, you're not going to, like I heard the guru get on one of his clips and say black women. No, actually Columbus Short was saying black women saying that if you don't do this, then you can't do this. And all this drama. And what Dr. Umar is saying is that a masculine, mature man is going to understand, first of all, is going to take a step back. If a situation is intense or if a problem arises, what he says, in my opinion, is that a masculine man is going to be able to take a step back, not operate in emotions, but operate in intelligence and leadership and masculine energy, find out what's going wrong, find out where he needs to improve, fix the problem. Not point the finger at the woman, but he's going to take accountability and see what he needs to do to better the situation, to better the relationship, to better the issue.
But arguing back and forth with women as a man, that's anti-masculine behavior. What we really need is some testosterone shots. We need more testosterone because black men are mimicking female behavior emotionally, and they're not even recognizing it. The woman is coming from, masculinity wants to then intervene, study himself, evaluate his behavior, and try to level up to where she needs him to be. But arguing back and forth with women as a man, that's anti-masculine behavior. What we really need is some testosterone shots. We need more testosterone because black men are mimicking female behavior emotionally, and they're not even recognizing it. The woman is...
All right, so the things I had to write it down, Chuck, because he's saying a lot. Study himself, level up, and get where she needs him to be. That is such a selfless, if that is not maturity, I really don't know what is. And that actually sounds very hard. And that takes the emotional intelligence, that takes the maturity that unfortunately a lot of us men and women don't have. But just going off what he says, study himself, level up where she needs him to be. That sentence right there, men ain't gonna want to hear. Because a weak man, a man operating in his feminine, he's not gonna want to look in the mirror. He's not going to want to study himself and see where he needs to level up and listen to his woman. He's going to feel attacked. He's going to look at a woman saying, hey, I think that, you might be better doing this, or maybe you ought to do this. This might help you to level up. He's going to look at that from a defensive eye. Instead of being like, okay, this is my woman. This is the woman that I chose, that I trust, who's supposed to have my best interest at hand. So let me listen to the woman because I am secure enough in myself to understand that I don't know it all, to understand that I have a helpmate who can help me, who loves me to my core and wants to see the best for me and wants to see me operating at 100% capacity. So let me go to my helpmate. Let me go to my partner. Let me get this black wife effect and level up the highest that I can. But the problem is a lot of men don't do that type of self-talk. You know, they get defensive, they get angry, they get mad. And that's where it comes from. That where you see a lot of these men like trying to mimic black women and saying black women require so much and black women are this and that. But that's to me where the whole black wife effect came from. You know, certain men of certain calibers are able to see the gold mine that they have in their woman, and they're able to actually use the resources, the smarts, they're able to use that to their benefit. When a woman loves a man, whether it's my brother, whether it's my man, whether it's my dad, when a woman loves anybody, and I'm speaking for myself, I want to see you being the best you that you can be. And when I'm looking at you, when I'm talking to you, when I'm watching and observing you, and I see that there are areas that, damn, if he just did this, he would kill it at work. Or if he just, did this, he could make this extra money. Or if he just did this, or if he just dressed this way, he could show up better and be more respected on his job. Like, a good woman is always looking at you, observing you, and thinking, okay, what would make him level up? What would make him at his best? And a smart man is going to take advantage of that. We've seen so many loser looking men, crazy looking men who was, looking, and listen, nobody's a loser, but crazy looking men who found a woman, she cleaned them up, brushed them off, shined them up, and now he's the hottest thing smoking. And because he was mature enough, smart enough to take advantage of the resource, the gold mine that he has in his home. Dr. Umar, if you see this, please come on my show. Please come on my show, because that post made me tingle, and that post made me have chills. It really, really did, because it just put the accountability where it needed to be. And I have to say that this is not a black woman versus black man thing. This is truly a let's come together, let's hold each other accountable and build from there. We don't got to bash, women down in the process, Y'all, this is really good. I'm gonna have to really look on some more of Dr. Umar's content. I can go on and on with this. Honestly, I thought it was just a great job. I thought it was an amazing clip. I haven't really seen the full interview yet. I'm going to watch it, and I really pray and hope that this video speaks to who it needs to speak to. I pray that great conversation and great communication comes from this podcast. The ultimate goal for me is to bridge us together. The ultimate goal for me is to see beautiful black families together thriving, and for that to be the norm. The hope and the goal for me is that the beautiful experience that I had growing up with my mom and my dad, living a great life, is that is people's norms, not single mothers and not black men belittling black women, and not that. On one of my videos, somebody left a comment about the BET Awards and said that she lived in another country. I don't think she was black, and she was saying how watching the BET Awards on TV it makes black people look bad. Basically, it made black people look bad, like in terms, like specifically on the way black women were presented and represented aesthetically on the BET Awards. Like I think she was saying that a lot of the rap music is like degrading to black women, and then how black women be dressing and twerking and all these things, it just makes black people present negatively in other countries. And I just don't want that. And I also want to say that this is not like, I love all my people, black, white, red, green. But to me, I can only speak from my experience. I can only speak from what I'm seeing within my own community. And I just want to help. This is an election year. And the fact that I keep saying that is the scariest thing, because I'm not one to get into politics, but the more I read, the more I research, the more I have conversations with people who are, it makes me very scared having young children who are going to be directly affected and impacted by who is chosen to be the president in a couple of months. Listen, y'all, make sure you leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next episode.